As somebody who's into psychology, I took it in high school and college, and I studied a lot of it on my own too. But as somebody who's like really interested in the science, I gotta say, man, there's a severe lack of knowledge in this type of area in the black community and really America as a whole. But for this video, I'm gonna focus on the black community. Once you start learning about how the brain works, how people pick up ideas and how certain behaviors are passed on from generation to generation, what racism really is starts to become obvious, and what it really is just social conditioning by the mainstream. But for this video, I'm going to focus on three terms, three psychological ideas, concepts that I feel like will help the black community, young black community, people my age, early 20s, late teens in general. So first one, projection. Alright, let's say you're entering a store, right? The mall, for example, Forever 21. You're shopping for some clothes, you want to update your wardrobe. It's been a few months since you've gone clothes shopping. So you're browsing around, but all of a sudden you notice that, whoa, somebody watching me? You see the clerk, kind of staring you down. You ignore it first, you're like, whatever, kind of used to this. I'm black, shopping in the mall, it is what it is. And all of a sudden you notice that, oh, is that mall cop? Why is the mall cop? Well, I'm just gonna ignore it, Then all of a sudden, after trying to ignore the fact that clearly you're being followed by, clerks and mall cops and stuff, now they come up and they approach you. They make some offhand comment like, hey, sir, not doing any stealing today, aren't you? Clearly they make a racist comment. So why did this happen? Why were you getting racially profiled? Well, I'll tell you why. They were projecting. Projection is when somebody else unconsciously attributes their ideas or subconscious beliefs onto somebody else. Clearly that clerk and the police officer, the mall cop, they had some ideas in their subconscious, probably through the media, the mainstream media, about how black people are, generally tend to be portrayed as thieves in the media. So that idea is stuck running in the background of their mind, the subconscious. They most likely they never had any interaction with like normal black everyday people who are just going about their lives. So when they see one for the first time, it's like, oh shit, is that a thief? That could be a thief. I don't know. What do I do? So they end up acting out those scenes that they see play out in the movies and the shows and whatever, where black people are mainly portrayed as thieves, thugs, etc. This is why black representation is so necessary in the mainstream today. We can't let somebody else tell our story, because if they keep telling the same story that we're thugs, thieves, and scum of society, people are going to believe that unconsciously because they don't have the mental capacity to go out and observe, to go out and meet black people and see what they're really like. People just don't do that, so they just assume that whatever they see in the media is true. So when you get racially profiled, when somebody says some offhand racist remark to you without realizing it, this is what's happening. They're projecting their beliefs onto you. So that's one idea that black people need to lock down and learn about and truly teach the younger generations. Teach them what's happening so they can not feel shitty about just being black. You didn't do anything wrong. It was the person who was thinking those things about you. They didn't have the heart to meet black people and see if it's true or not. They didn't have the desire to check their own beliefs, which is necessary. I think it's always necessary to question your own beliefs. We should never let somebody else's beliefs about us become our reality. We get to choose who we are, and let's choose the best option for ourselves. Let's not fall into that self-fulfilling prophecy, which is a good segue, because number 2 is the self-fulfilling prophecy. This is a very crazy phenomenon that nobody talks about. People need to learn about this so then we can stop creating the same thing. So what is a self-fulfilling prophecy? Well, here's what it is. A self-fulfilling prophecy is an idea or belief that comes true simply because of the expectation that it will come true. An example of this is like, say a kid's in school and the teacher asks him, what do you want to be? And he's like, I want to be president of the United States. And then she's like, are you sure? You should be realistic. You should lower your expectations a little bit. Maybe think about basketball or something like that, something more in your lane. See, since that teacher projected her beliefs onto that kid, now that kid's gonna believe that, okay, maybe being president for a black kid, that's crazy. I shouldn't have thought about that. He's gonna feel like he was ridiculous for thinking about that, and now he's gonna lower his expectations to be, you know, something else. A basketball player, for example. It's pretty much the placebo effect. You know, when your beliefs become reality. That's actually a very true thing. You guys should study that. Beliefs tend to become reality, no matter how crazy the belief is. As long as somebody truly believes it, they'll go out to make that belief come true subconsciously. Usually, you know, there are obviously exceptions to every case. You know, what if that teacher originally supported him? What if she was like, okay, be president, cool, but realize that it might be difficult for you, but if you try hard, work towards it, anything is possible. That kid could have become the second black president of the United States, you know, but now he's gonna end up being, you know, something else, maybe basketball player, which is totally cool. You can do that too, but originally he wanted to be the president, but she shot his beliefs down, so now he's gonna end up creating that belief for himself, the belief that he can't do that, you know. So that's number 2, self-fulfilling prophecy. All right, number 3, and this one is targeted more towards the younger black community, you know, like early teens, late teens, early 20s, around that age. Groupthink. Groupthink is when a person or a group of people make irrational or non-optimal decisions based on the urge or desire to conform to another group of people. You know, it's pretty much the desire to belong, you know, a place where you can feel comfortable, you know, a place where people want to be included pretty much. People want to have a group to reside in. You know, I'm targeting this last one towards the younger black community because it seems like the group they want to conform to is the group that's the most damaging to young black communities, you know? Like, for example, rap, a lot of these rap artists today, the things they promote, you know, drugs, sex, theft, all that type of things, all those type of things. Maybe we shouldn't put those things on a pedestal. Like, I'm not saying don't enjoy that music, you know, but when young kids hear this, they're like, it also, one thing about psychology is that repetition becomes belief. You know, if you keep repeating something to somebody long enough, it's gonna end up becoming part of their normal thought process, which means they're gonna start ending up acting on those things. You know, so if kids keep listening to artists rap about drug use, you know, murder, thefts, all these type of things, they're gonna end up becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy. They're gonna end up going and creating those things. You see how it all comes back in a circle? I think the black community can learn a lot from this, honestly. So yeah, those are 3 psychological terms I think the black community can learn a lot from. Projection, self-fulfilling prophecy, and groupthink. Those 3 things. We gotta lock it out in order to improve our communities. You know what the crazy thing about projection is, man? A lot of the times, black people will project onto other black people. It's kind of crazy. Like, I've experienced this in my life many times over. Like, for example, I'm African, you know, so a lot of the times aunties and uncles, they'll project onto their kids in their community, like assuming that they're gonna grow up to become criminals and do drugs and stuff like that. And a lot of the times those kids do because their parents have the belief that those kids would do that, and those kids are like not having a place to feel safe at. Because if you're at home and your parents are, you know, already as a kid already believe that you're gonna do that, it creates a disconnect there. It creates a rift. So those kids go out to seek those things in order to have a place to belong. We really gotta learn about these things so we don't keep the cycle going. We gotta break it, you know? Anyways, I think that's it for the day. Knowledge is power, man. Ignorance is not bliss. Like, sure, it can be, you know, but it hurts you in a lot more ways than it could help you. So, knowledge is power. Ubenu out.